Why do some seniors who carefully choose healthy foods still experience persistent inflammation, digestive discomfort, and unexplained health issues? Could the way you're storing your food be quietly undermining the very nutrition you're trying to protect? Today, we're examining something that most people never consider: 7 common foods that should never be refrigerated, especially after age 60, because cold storage actually transforms them into potential sources of harmful compounds that burden your aging body in ways you'd never suspect. Understanding why this matters requires recognizing something fundamental about how your body changes after 60. Your liver and kidneys, the organs responsible for filtering toxins and processing waste, work less efficiently than they did decades ago. Your digestive system produces fewer enzymes to break down complex foods. Your immune system responds more dramatically to inflammatory compounds. These changes mean that foods which degraded harmlessly in your younger years can now create cumulative problems that manifest as chronic inflammation, digestive issues, and unnecessary strain on your detoxification organs. Let's start with number 7, a food that nearly everyone keeps in the refrigerator without question. Tomatoes should never be stored in cold temperatures once they've been purchased. When you refrigerate tomatoes, the cold damages their delicate cell structure, stopping the natural ripening process completely. This isn't just about flavor, though refrigerated tomatoes do taste noticeably worse. The real problem is what happens to their nutritional content and chemical composition. Cold storage causes tomatoes to lose significant amounts of lycopene, the powerful antioxidant that gives tomatoes their red color and protects your cells from oxidative stress. For seniors dealing with inflammation and cellular aging, losing this protective compound matters enormously. Additionally, the moisture that builds up on refrigerated tomatoes creates an ideal environment for bacterial growth, and the damaged cell structure makes these tomatoes harder for your aging digestive system to process effectively. The result is that you're getting less nutrition and potentially more inflammatory compounds from what should be a healthy food. Store your tomatoes in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight and eat them once they've ripened. If you have more ripe tomatoes than you can use immediately, cook them into sauce and then refrigerate the sauce, which doesn't suffer the same degradation as raw tomatoes in cold storage. Number 6 is something that appears in nearly every kitchen, and that most people automatically store in the refrigerator. Garlic should never be refrigerated because the combination of cold temperature and moisture creates conditions that encourage mold growth and rapid spoilage. The molds that grow on garlic can produce compounds that burden your liver and kidneys, exactly what you want to avoid as these organs become less efficient with age. Beyond the mold issue, refrigeration causes garlic to sprout prematurely and lose the sulfur compounds responsible for its powerful antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. These sulfur compounds are exactly what make garlic valuable for senior health, helping protect against infections and reducing inflammation. When you refrigerate garlic, you're actively destroying the very components that make it beneficial. The result is garlic that's not only less effective but potentially contaminated with mold-produced toxins your body must work harder to eliminate. Store garlic in a dry, well-ventilated place away from light. A mesh bag or basket on your counter works perfectly. Properly stored garlic can last for months while maintaining its protective compounds and avoiding mold contamination. Number 5 is another staple that most people keep in the refrigerator drawer without realizing the problems this creates. Onions should never be refrigerated in their whole, uncut state because cold storage causes their structure to soften and retain moisture, creating an environment where bacteria and molds can flourish. Some of these molds are visible, but others remain hidden inside the onion layers, producing toxins you can't see but that your body must process. The cold also converts some of the onion's starch into sugar, which changes not just the flavor but how your body digests and responds to the onion. For seniors with sensitive digestion, this conversion can lead to bloating and discomfort. The bacterial growth that occurs in refrigerated onions can cause inflammation in your digestive tract, particularly problematic when your gut is already more sensitive and less resilient than in your younger years. Store whole onions in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space away from potatoes, which give off moisture and gases that accelerate onion spoilage. Once you've cut an onion, you can refrigerate the remaining portion in a sealed container, but whole onions belong outside the refrigerator. Number 4 might surprise you because refrigerating this food is extremely common, yet it creates specific problems that particularly affect seniors. Bread should never be refrigerated because cold temperatures cause a process called starch retrogradation, where the starch molecules rearrange themselves in ways that make the bread dry, hard, and significantly less digestible. For seniors whose digestive systems already produce fewer enzymes to break down complex carbohydrates, this makes bread even more challenging to process. More concerning is what happens when you eat refrigerated bread or toast it after refrigeration. The chemical changes that occur during cold storage lead to the formation of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, when the bread is subsequently heated. These AGEs are inflammatory compounds that contribute to joint stiffness, vascular problems, and metabolic stress, all issues that seniors are already managing. Additionally, bread stored in the refrigerator is more prone to developing hidden mold that your weakened immune system must fight. Keep bread at room temperature if you'll use it within a few days. For longer storage, freeze bread immediately, which preserves it without the chemical changes that refrigeration causes. Frozen bread can be thawed or toasted directly from the freezer without producing the same harmful compounds. Now we reach number 3, and this is one where the storage mistake creates a specific chemical risk that's particularly dangerous for seniors. Potatoes should never be refrigerated because cold temperatures convert the potatoes' starch into sugar. This might not sound immediately concerning, but here's why it matters enormously. When you cook these sugar-laden potatoes, especially at high temperatures like baking or frying, they produce significantly higher levels of a compound called acrylamide. Acrylamide forms when starchy foods containing these sugars are cooked at high heat, and research has linked acrylamide exposure to increased long-term health risks. Your aging body is less efficient at processing and eliminating acrylamide, meaning it can accumulate and cause more damage than it would in a younger person. Additionally, the texture changes in refrigerated potatoes lead to uneven cooking, which can create pockets of overcooked areas that produce even more of these harmful compounds. Store potatoes in a cool, dark, dry place, but not in the refrigerator. A pantry or cupboard away from onions works well. The potatoes will last for weeks while maintaining their proper starch structure and avoiding the sugar conversion that leads to acrylamide formation during cooking. Number 2 is a fruit that many people refrigerate specifically to extend its life, not realizing that cold storage fundamentally changes its chemistry in harmful ways. Bananas should never be refrigerated, even when you think refrigeration will slow ripening. Cold temperatures disrupt the natural enzyme activity in bananas, causing the peel to darken rapidly while the interior breaks down unevenly in ways that produce oxidative byproducts your body must process. These oxidative compounds can trigger digestive stress in seniors whose gut linings are already more sensitive and prone to irritation. The enzyme disruption also affects how the banana's sugars and starches are balanced, potentially causing blood sugar fluctuations and bloating that wouldn't occur with properly stored bananas. The potassium in refrigerated bananas also becomes less bioavailable, meaning you get less of this crucial mineral that helps regulate blood pressure and heart rhythm. Store bananas at room temperature away from direct sunlight. If they're ripening faster than you can eat them, slice and freeze ripe bananas for smoothies rather than refrigerating whole bananas. Frozen banana slices don't suffer the same enzyme disruption and oxidative changes as refrigerated whole bananas. Now we arrive at number 1, foods that are refrigerated so commonly that suggesting otherwise seems counterintuitive. Yet the science is clear about the problems cold storage creates. Chili peppers and bell peppers should never be refrigerated whole because the cold traps moisture inside the pepper, breaking down cell walls and encouraging mold growth that's often hidden inside where you can't see it until you cut the pepper open. Some of these molds produce compounds that burden your liver and kidneys with detoxification work, and at your age, these organs are already working at reduced capacity. The cold also significantly reduces the vitamin C content and other antioxidants that make peppers valuable for your health, meaning you're getting substantially less nutrition from refrigerated peppers. The moisture and cell wall breakdown can cause digestive irritation, particularly problematic for seniors with sensitive stomachs or inflammatory conditions. Store whole peppers in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place where they'll last several days while maintaining their nutritional value and avoiding moisture-related mold growth. If you must refrigerate cut peppers, dry them thoroughly first and use them quickly, within a day or two at most. Understanding the broader principle here matters as much as knowing these specific foods. Your body after 60 is fundamentally different from your younger body in how it processes foods, eliminates toxins, and responds to inflammatory compounds. Small exposures to degraded foods, mold-produced toxins, or chemically altered compounds might have caused no noticeable problems when you were 40. But now, these same exposures create cumulative stress that manifests as chronic inflammation, digestive discomfort, and strain on your liver and kidneys. The way you store food matters as much as what food you choose. Proper storage preserves the natural enzymes, antioxidants, and beneficial compounds that support your health while preventing the formation of harmful substances that burden your aging body. This isn't about fear or extreme restrictions. It's about simple awareness and adjustments that protect you from unnecessary health challenges. Making these storage changes requires no special equipment or significant effort. It simply means reconsidering the automatic habit of putting everything in the refrigerator. Create storage spaces for these 7 foods, perhaps a basket on your counter for tomatoes, garlic, and onions, a bread box for bread, a pantry spot for potatoes, a fruit bowl for bananas, and a ventilated container for peppers. These simple adjustments dramatically reduce your exposure to the compounds and contaminants that refrigeration creates or encourages. The benefits extend beyond just avoiding harmful substances. Properly stored foods actually taste better, maintain their nutritional value longer, and support your digestive health more effectively. You'll likely notice that tomatoes have more flavor, garlic remains potent, bread stays fresh and digestible, and peppers maintain their crisp texture and vitamin content. These aren't just aesthetic improvements. They represent foods that are chemically intact and nutritionally complete in ways that refrigerated versions simply aren't. So here's what I want you to do starting today. Look at these 7 foods in your kitchen and move them out of the refrigerator into appropriate storage spaces. Notice over the coming weeks whether your digestion improves, whether inflammation you've been experiencing decreases, whether you simply feel better overall. Many seniors report that this simple change produces noticeable benefits they hadn't expected. Leave a comment below telling us which of these surprised you most or which storage mistake you've been making for years without realizing the impact. Share this video with friends or family members who could benefit from understanding how food storage affects health, particularly for seniors whose bodies respond differently than younger people. Subscribe to our channel for more practical, science-based information that helps you protect your health through simple, sustainable changes rather than complicated restrictions or expensive interventions. Remember that your health after 60 is shaped more by these daily choices, the small habits you repeat consistently, than by dramatic interventions or extreme measures. Something as simple as where you store your food can either support your body's natural defenses or create unnecessary burdens that accumulate into chronic problems. Choose storage methods that work with your aging body rather than against it, and you'll be taking a meaningful step toward reducing inflammation, supporting digestion, and maintaining the vitality you value. Thank you for investing this time in learning how to store food in ways that protect rather than undermine your health.